at this government and the people in government. There is no such thing as government. It doesn't exist. It is the people, and mostly who are criminals in government, who are running the show. Now, back in 2010, maybe 2010, somewhere around then, 2010, 2011, I lived in Los Angeles. And at that time, I was running a going concern limousine service. And when they pulled the rug out from under everybody, the banks fraudulently shut down the world economy in 2009 so they could seize the United States Treasury completely, which they did. I will refrain from referring to who they are because this gets pigeonholed anyway. But this gets better. It just keeps getting better. So I gave up on my car service because they just gutted me. I was looking forward to retiring in like 5 years with several cars, and they killed my business. Everybody stopped traveling. Nobody was using black cars. They shipped all the limos over to Russia and China or Mexico. And while I moved up to Big Bear, thinking I'm going to escape. I'm going to live simply. I ended up working for some campground management company that was just horrific. They all are. And I thought, this can't get any worse. And then I realized, because I was still doing jobs here and there, I still had my Lincoln Town Car. And I'm like, something's going on with my American Express merchant account. I'm not getting any response. I look into it, and somebody had hijacked my merchant account, my American Express merchant account. And they tried to hijack my bank account, but they got the merchant account. When I contacted American Express, they, no apology, no nothing. They said, this company in San Francisco area said that they got your Social Security number from the government. So I'm like, no, they stole it. So I look into them. Peninsula Catering, they're called, in Redwood City, California. So if you want to call them on my behalf, be my guest. So I look into it and I realize they're a bunch of Mexicans, illegals, who are running a bogus catering company and laundering money for various things. And I realize I'm in the hole for $400,000. I'm arguing with back and forth saying I'm Lucan Limousine. They are not. They are Peninsula Catering. They are Mexicans. They're in San Francisco area, Redwood City, and they are stealing from me and everyone else. So American Express just denies all culpability. It took me a couple of months to get my own merchant account back. And they had stolen a few $1,000s from me, as well as running... The hell was that noise? I'm just getting choked up again. I'm so angry about all this. But they won't let anybody watch me anymore because I'm telling the truth. So American Express just denies all culpability. I contact this. I investigate them because you can find everything on Google, even back then, 2010-ish. I find out it's this. I found all of their records. I found everything. $400,000 run through my account, and I'm like, I'm going to be held accountable for that for the IRS. I get a hold of this guy, some Mexican in Redwood City, California. Peninsula Catering. And I'm like, dude, you stole my identity. You stole my social security. And he just blows me off. It basically, after, I can't understand him. He barely speaks English. And at the end of it, he goes, go fuck yourself. I'm like, go fuck myself. Okay. I contact the California government. I contact everybody, every department you can imagine, and they all just blow me off because they're part of it. They're getting a piece of that action, California is basically run by Marxists, and the Mexican cartels, and that's probably who this guy was hooked up with. So I get blown off by the California Attorney General, the FCC, whatever it is, all of the three of the alphabet agencies you can think of, federal and state. They all blow me off. They don't fucking care. I'm like, okay. I thought about going up there and having a little chat with the guy, but then I thought, well, I'm not going to go to prison for, doing what I cannot talk about. So I let it go. This was a decade and a half ago in California. Peninsula Catering stole my identity, my social security, my life. They get rewarded. I get screwed by it like everybody else. Get wiped out by the fake banking crisis. So I hang in there for another 3 or 4 years. I come back to Ohio in 2015. I'm struggling, working for other limo companies who treat you like shit. The world is just full of terrible people. I even delivered horses for an outfit in Arizona and St. Louis. 2 different companies who, they bought and sold horses here. And then I did that for a while in 2014 and almost it was into 2015. But 2015, 2016, I came back to Columbus. I restart my service. I managed to get enough money salted away. I'm living out of an RV that I had been living out of in Los Angeles, paying no bills. It was great. That's a whole other story. It's actually online. If you look up Luke and Limousine, there's 2 different listings for me. The old one, I'm trying to get it back, but I didn't have the email, so they wouldn't. It's still there. Years of videos from California. That'll give you a little background on me. So I'm like, all right, well, I get my service started back up. I moved down to the Athens, Ohio area where there's a university, Ohio University. I open a bed and breakfast. I'm doing it on a shoestring with credit cards. And I run into even more situations down there. 2 just insane landlords, hillbilly landlords, born-again Christians. Don't work with them. I beat them both in court, but after 3 years of fighting them, and then they pull this pandemic thing, which is bogus. University shuts down, everybody stops traveling. And I'm like, this cannot be happening. No, not again. So I had like a month's worth of money in my pocket. I lost everything I had. I put it in storage. It was there for 2 years and I couldn't get it back out. Whole house full of stuff. I basically just let somebody haul it away. Come back to Columbus. I get it started again. I don't know how I did it. Just sheer stubbornness. I get the car service started back up again with a Cadillac that I bought. And in the meantime, I managed to get this SUV as well. I start making some money. And then this thing, blah blah, the fake pandemic, blah 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 blah. They pull that, everything shuts down again. I get totally screwed. I'm looking at disaster again. I fight the SBA, the Small Business Administration. I fight with them for 2 years, trying to get what little they promised small businesses like myself. I had to fight them tooth and nail. And in the meantime, I got $5,000 here, $5,000 there. It was like pulling teeth. I got about 20 grand total over time, but that just barely kept the roof over my head and paid my car bills. So I got that situation. And then I'm looking at the SBA site because they posted everything. Every single company that got money, you had these multi-billion-dollar corporations that were stealing the Small Business Administration money. They didn't need it. They got tens of billions, hundreds of billions. Tens of billions went missing. They couldn't account for like $65 billion. And in the meantime, I'm fighting with some DEI hire sitting at her kitchen table. Some black woman, there are 3 or 4 of them I had to deal with, telling me I had to jump through hoops, this form, that form, refile, do this, do that. They basically were trying to kill small businesses. But I wasn't going to die. So I go on the SBA site, because there's $5,000 here, $5,000. There's 2 different things: PPP, payroll protection, which you didn't have to pay back, but I only got like $5,000 on that, nothing. There was another one, EIDL, the emergency loan, which you had to pay back eventually. And over time, that's where I got about 20 grand. Well below the 2 years of working capital that President Biden promised, which got him into office. I never got anywhere near that. I got about 25, 30 grand tops. It should have been 60 to 100 grand. No, they just were just fucking with us. That's all they were doing. So I look on the SBA website, see the record. I look up my company name, Luken, Luken, Luken Limousine. I look at Luken Limousine. There's 2 listings for them, 2 different programs. One of them was about $5,000. The other one was 12 or something at the time. I look at them. The one says $200,000, and the other one says $300,000. $500,000 in my company name. I can't get a straight answer from the SBA. They don't give a shit. I finally track it down because, lo and behold, the issuing bank was Fremont Bank in California. I look through I finally find the records of the actual company, and I look up the address on Google, and there's a sign that says Redwood City Peninsula Catering. The same motherfucking Mexican that ripped me off and robbed me back in 2010 pulled it on me again, used my Social Security and my company name this time, not his own company name, to get to defraud the SBA of $500,000 in my name. I contacted 2 different representatives and 2 different senators, and each time one of them was moving on to another job, and then I find out, and I'm getting no response from these people. I'm talking to the SBA attorneys. They're, "Oh, this is terrible, Mr. Luken." Obviously, because I had it all documented right there. I sent them all over and over again. Sent them the screenshots, everything. "We're going to look into this, Mr. Luken." Turns out my new senator was J.D. Vance. I'm contacting his office. And this is after getting nowhere and then getting stonewalled by the SBA. Just totally cut off. Not even responding to my emails and shit, which tells me they're in on it. The people that work at the SBA were getting kickbacks from all these people that were defrauding us of billions of dollars, just like these Somalians in Minnesota. They're not doing it on their own. The warlords are not figuring this shit out. The fucking bankers and the other people, the smart guys, the smartest guys in the room, the little hats, they're running the show, okay? They're running the Federal Reserve, which is not our treasury. It's a private bank. Most of the country's woken up to these facts. We're still getting fucked and nobody's doing anything about it because you can't take up arms. You take up arms, they'll kill you or put you in prison. But I'm getting to that. So I'm at my last straw. I'm struggling like I am now. I get so upset I start choking up and I don't have a drink here. Oh, by the way, I'm at the UPS store. Okay, that's the UPS store that I moved to a new place, and they stole a $1,000 body armor vest that I had tried to ship to somebody in Portland, Oregon as a gift. Somebody here stole it. It never got to the distribution center. And I know who it was. It's the guy that works there. He was being a dick. And that's a whole nother ball of wax. So I'm finally talking to, and this is after J.D. Vance accepted the stewardship of the country. He went from nobody to senator to vice president, and he'll be the next president because he does as he's told. He's a dog. He's a lapdog for the tiny hat people. That's why we're blowing billions more, and I'm paying $5 a gallon for gas yet again in this beast that gets 13 miles to the gallon, which I'm now going to have to try to get rid of because my business once again has been gutted. I never came back after this go round. So I get ignored by them too. I send them all that shit, and I go, "Oh well, Mr. Lucan, we're going to look into this. You're our constituent. You're important. You're a citizen." I get a boilerplate letter back from them and saying, "We contacted the SBA and they say you owe 20 grand." I said, no. What? I just showed you. What about the $500,000 that got stolen in my name? Well, somebody went in after I contacted the Fremont Bank. I didn't talk to the Mexican again in California. Fremont Bank obviously freaked out. They changed the one name back to Peninsula Catering, and I just got a letter. I'm getting to it. But it was for the one they don't have to pay back. So it's like, oh, I see. So Peninsula Catering doesn't have to pay anything back. I'm still on the hook for the other one, which was $200,000, $300,000, something like that. I'm like, you cocksuckers. I have no recourse. What are you going to do? Killdozer is my hero. That should give you a hint. Killdozer is my fucking hero. Except he was stupid. He shot himself instead of continuing his rampage. And he was stupid. He drove into a basement with his tank he built. Before he destroyed the homes of the people that robbed him. So I'm like, okay. I'm still on the hook. J.D. Vance blows me off. Fuck him. I voted for Trump 3 times because he promised, and he's broken every promise. Fuck him. I'm not going to say anything else because the FBI will come and get you if you say certain things. I have no intention of doing anything untoward. Because it doesn't matter. You know, you take out one leader, they just put another fucking piece of shit in there. Doesn't matter. They got 1,000 guys waiting in line to do the job. So it don't fucking matter. Whacking Kennedy didn't really... Well, that changed everything. That's because the military-industrial complex, which is owned by the people in the desert, they decided we don't want it to go in this direction. We don't want peace. We want war. We want to destroy the earth. We want to kill 7 or 8 billion people as a human sacrifice. So I digress. Son of a bitch. I digress. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm getting ignored. Then I start getting the calls, the phone calls, and the letters. Mr. Lucan, you owe 20 grand to the Treasury or to the SBA. Oh, you didn't pay it. We've referred it to the Treasury. Oh, the Treasury is gonna, now they're going to start collections. If you don't pay, you're a bad boy. Fuck the Mexicans. They walked off with hundreds of thousands of dollars in my name. And I have no recourse. I didn't get any of that money. I'm getting fucked by the government. So I contacted, like I said, J.D. Vance's office. Nothing. They blew me off. Another boilerplate letter, which I will post eventually. So I call this is years later. I'm like, you know what? You guys want this money. I'm gonna notify you yet again. There was a whistleblower website with the President of the United States. And I think I'll never, there's millions of jokers, most of them wackos, sending notifications to this, saying the space aliens are in their brain. So I sent a notification. I filled out the form. I said, this is what happened to me. I didn't hear anything. Here it is. This is dated April 14th, 2026. Months later, after I've had a couple of heart attacks from the stress. I get a letter, look at this, from the United States SBA, Small Business Administration, Washington, D.C., dated April 14th, 2026. Here it is, see? That's it right there. See that? It's real. Howard Lucan. Blah, blah, blah. Dear Howard Lucan, thank you for writing President Trump on February 9th, 2026, on behalf of your sole proprietorship business. The White House has referred to your inquiry. Who wrote this? It's not even proper English. The White House has referred to your inquiry to the Small Business Administration, SBA Office of Capital Access for review. And we are pleased to respond. We're just pleased as punch. Specifically, you stated you discovered COVID-19 Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL, fraud in which a company stole your Social Security number and business name, and you should receive a finder's fee. Well, that's what they were saying. If you found fraud, and for any major amount of money, not a couple of grand, but $500,000, they were giving people, or they were saying they were giving people, a percentage. You were getting what? 5-10% sometimes. These people were, stealing billions. A lot of people got rich, not me. As a result of fuck, I'm so upset. I'm about to choke. There's an actual physical ailment where you get so wound up. I'm probably going to have another heart attack. Your larynx will shut down. All right, I'm going to try to calm down because nobody's watching this. As a result of your inquiry, and this is the SBA contacted by the White House. As a result of your inquiry, I asked a member of my staff to review your file. Good. A business, Peninsula Catering and Events Incorporated, was assigned the same employer identification number, EIN, number as your Social Security number, SSN. Bullshit. Or they were actually handing out people's Social Security numbers, knowing that this was going to happen. Oh, you're with the cartel? We're going to give you Mr. Lucan's Social Security number. When Peninsula Catering received funding, this caused an overwrite with your name within SBA's system. It's a glitch. The mistake was discovered on August 20th, 2020, and the system was corrected to reflect the proper borrower's name for Peninsula Catering. That was after I found that they had changed the name, but not on the EIDL. I was still on the hook for because both numbers coincidentally matched. Isn't that amazing? It's just a coincidence. There are no coincidences in government. The mistake was discovered, blah, blah, blah. Because both numbers coincidentally matched, your SSN and Peninsula Catering's EIN, they do not give a Social Security number for a company EIN. It is not identity theft, IDT, of each other's personally identifiable information, PII. Therefore, no fraud was discovered. It was covered up. Furthermore, even if you had identified fraud, there's no finder's fee. There was. A lot of people got rich turning in fake fraud. SBA does not issue a finder's fee or monetary reward for reporting fraud. Well, that is not true. They even put it out. They said if you find, because they discovered so much fraud, billions of dollars in fraud with this program we were administering, and we'll take care of you if you report it. Well, no. What they did was they bent me over and fucked me a little harder in the ass. Furthermore, I got that. Additionally, here it comes. Additionally, our records confirm an initial COVID-19 EIDL was approved to you, Howard Lucan, for your limousine business, and a disbursement of $5,000 was funded on May 21st, 2020. An increased disbursement, this is what I had to fight for a long time. An increased disbursement of $18,800 was successfully funded on May 25th, 2021. A year fucking later, after I fought with them, totaling $23,800 as a loan that must be paid in full per the signed loan authorization and agreements. Not the $200,000 or the $300,000. That just magically went away. I just realized I'm looking even more like Jerry Garcia, and I'm kind of feeling like him. Touch of gray. I might as well be dead. I don't know how I've hung on 2 heart attacks after this. This is what pushes people over. This is what pushes people over the edge. This is what pushes people over the edge. And your average person doesn't understand it. They never will, because they haven't faced this. But I have. I'm going to be 70 years old this year in October. 2 heart attacks last year. Actually, I had a lot more because I didn't tell anybody about them. Okay, so following the 30-month deferment, they give you 30 months that you don't have to worry about it. Then you're going to get suckered. You're going to get fucked hard. Following the 30-month deferment period, loan installment payments of $120 became due on November 11th, 2022, and are required monthly. And this is, I contacted them again and again and again, explaining what happened. It just all went away into the firmament. No payments have been made on the COVID-19 EIDL. Mr. Lucan, you deadbeat. On March 18th, 2026. They just now did this after I contacted them again and brought it to their attention. Somebody went, this guy's being a problem. He's an old white man. We don't like them. On March 18th, just fucking happened. 2026. Your loan was referred to the U.S. Department of Treasury. The monthly payment obligation remained unpaid for more than 180 days and is now subject to collection actions, including referral to the Treasury Department. Ooh. The Debt Collection Improvement Act of 1996, or the DCIA, this is where they're... Ladies and gentlemen, we need an armed insurrection, a real one. We need to take this republic back. I'll get into that. I'll get into that. The DCIA. Look at DCIA. That's how, isn't that clever? Collection Improvement Act. They've improved their collection against people like you, Mr. Lucan. You deadbeat. You racist white. Public Law 104-134. Tasked. Oh, there's a word. Tasked. U.S. Department of Treasury. It's not our Treasury anymore. With some government-wide debt collection responsibilities. Oh, really? They weren't satisfied with just robbing us. Now they want us gone. The law provides that delinquent non-tax debts must be turned over to the Treasury for appropriate action to collect the debt. Federal agencies must is highlighted. Dark, black, must. They must refer any eligible debts that are 180 days delinquent to page 2. U.S. Department of Treasury Bureau of Fiscal Services, BFS, for cross-servicing. Gotta love this fucking bureaucracy. Well, they're gonna love me. The Digital Accountability and Transparency Act, Data Act. Data. Much data. We need to rob you further for our data. You must... the Data Act. Amended the DCIA. They amended it to require agencies to notify fiscal service of all debts delinquent 120 days or more for purposes of administrative offset. We made sure that the illegals got billions. And you, Mr. Lucan, and all the stupid citizenry like you, you're no longer viable. We don't need you anymore. We're the government. You must, they didn't highlight must this time. You must contact Treasury at 1-800-289-7388. Let me repeat that in case some wacko out there wants us to call and say you're me. 1-800-289-7388 to make payment or request other debt management solutions. We're going to help you out, Mr. Lucan. Due to the high call volume, however, numerous calls will likely be needed and hold time may be extended. In other words, fuck you. Fuck you, Mr. Lucan. The SBA CESC cannot provide assistance in contacting Treasury. In other words, we're washing our hands of this. We did it to you to start, but we don't care because some of us got paid off. The rest of us just don't give a fuck. In addition, please note, all prior loan payments sent to the CESC will be sent to Treasury for recording and credited to the total amount due. I haven't sent them a penny, and I never fucking will. Come and get it. If you have any further questions specific to the COVID-19 EIDL, which we made out of thin air to fuck you in the ass, the whole republic, please contact Treasury at 1-800-289-7388. She felt it so important to repeat that. We're giving you a way out, Mr. Lucan. It doesn't matter that you've gone in 75 grand into debt, and now even more, another 30 grand plus penalties. That's probably pushing another 80 grand or more. The 75 grand I owe is on this piece of shit. My trailer, which is falling to pieces. Yes, kids, I live in a fucking trailer. I live in a fucking trailer down by the river. And 5 credit cards, 6 actually. A personal loan from the predatory banks. A line of credit, which should have gotten me out of the hole years ago. But instead of giving me what I was due, I should have gotten, according to, it changed just before I applied for it. They had a formula at one time for a line of credit. I had stellar credit. I had income, steady income at the time. This is before they fucked me. And I applied. I said I should have gotten I asked for $100,000. I could have cleared everything up. I could have gotten into new cars, and I could have advertised. I could have been on Easy Street. But I don't know anybody in the fucking inside. I don't know any insiders. I got no in. And I've got a big red check mark next to my name on every database. Like, this guy's a problem. He likes to talk too much. Signed. Here we go. Signed. Sincerely. She's sincere. And it's a fake signature. Kathleen Litwin. Littwin. Kathleen Litwin. Director. She's the director. COVID EIDL Servicing Center. Office of Capital Access. U.S. Small Business Administration. Thanks, Kathleen. I really appreciate this. After bringing this up to everyone and telling everyone that I'm at the end of my rope, you decided to, because it had basically been forgotten. You know, they're not going after millions, hundreds of millions. There's probably half the country is in my situation with debt. And a good chunk of them are stuck with the fucking government up their ass. This is why people are we're reaching it, but this is what the guys that own everything want. They want to push us over the edge. They want armed rebellion. Well, they're going to get it. They're going to get it in spades. Because of this kind of shit. This kind of shit. Bureaucrats pushing fucking buttons on a computer that spit out plus more and more paper that we don't need. Whoever got this, they got pissy. Fort Worth, Texas. Penalty for private use, $300. It's got a barcode on it and everything. Postmarked. What's the postmark? I can't read it with these glasses. Postmarked April 16th, 2026. And some DEI hire, some libtard, they decided on March 18th, 2026, that's about when I was trying to get them to clear this up again. They said, oh, look, we forgot about this guy. Let's go fuck him a little harder. And then they sent this April 14th, postmarked the 16th, dated the 14th, April. Not even a month. The year of our Lord, 2026. I can't fucking believe it. I've been dealing with this dog shit since I was of age. Back in 1974, 75. All through high school, facing the opportunity of going to Vietnam. And then they just petered out because they couldn't keep lying to people. And eventually, even mom and pop America figured it out. But now we're back into another one. We got a new Vietnam. And then, this. God. Oh, my God in heaven. There is no God. There is only us. We, the few, the proud, the well-armed. So I'm going to say it right now. I'm not going to threaten any individual because they're just little droogies. They're just little cogs. They get their fucking money and they go buy a house and they live comfortably. And some of them take a kickback. Some of them get rich. You run for office, you're going to get very rich. J.D. Vance. I got nothing against him. His fake hillbilly legacy. A bunch of shit. I grew up a poor black person. Anyway, me and a few million other guys like me are finally reaching the end. This is the end, my friend. This is the end. My only friend, the end. I, like so many others, I am not going to commit suicide. I'm not interested in offing myself. I want to stay alive and see what happens over the next decade if we're allowed to continue living. I don't think we're going to. I think they're going to release the real killer bugs. They're going to involve us in something. The desert people are going, not the Arabics or the Persians, the other fake desert people. The guys that control the currencies. And they do. They now run the world, and they're getting their way. Starts with a Z, and they're not zombies. Where was I going with that? Oh, they are going to, it's going to happen. They're going to set off a nuke. They've got a lot of them. In fact, I can guarantee you, they have a nuke, at least one, in every major city on the planet. And they've got enough of them, they can target every town, village, farm, mountaintop on Earth. And if they are finally found out and actually brought, or we try to bring them to justice, it's not going to happen. They'll set them all off. They won't give up. That's how insane they are. They've been inbreeding for 1,000 years. 700 actually. That was when the Human Genome Project proved that they're not ancient Hebrews. They got zero DNA from ancient Hebrews. They died out. They are 90 something percent DNA connected to the Kurdish people, the people in Kurdistan and north of Iraq, up in the mountains. That's where they came from. Some king back in the day, 700 years ago, give or take, said, I got to get rid of this lawlessness, this savagery, redirect the savagery. So he had a choice, and he was influenced just like every king and government since then in the Western world and Eastern world, to convert the population at the point of a sword. You can convert, but you got a choice. You can get this new Christian thing, which is just worshiping the Jew. It was invented by, I just said it. It was invented by these guys, the tiny hat people. And it works. These guys running the country now are just, they are so intent. Yeah, this guy who probably never existed. If he did, he was a Buddhist. Those 20 years he disappeared, he went to India and studied Buddhism. Gautama Buddha lived 500 years before him. So that's 2,500 ago. Or this thing called Islam, which they as well invented. In order to have enemy, you have to create enemies where there are none in order to control a population locally or globally. So they created this thing hundreds of years ago as here's the enemy. Look, there they are. Look at them. Or you could have had, the Talmud, the Torah. And this king, he chose the latter, which is the same as choosing any other. The one thing is, they value education, boy, and my God, they spread out across Europe, and within 300-400 years, they dominated every nation in Europe, which was all that mattered, because the rest of the world was just savages, easily crushed. So, and every king had their Jewish scribes who were, the ones that could read and teach and manipulate the history. That's what we got today. So this is definitely going to get buried, because I mentioned the words, but I don't care, I don't care. But I am not committing suicide. I am not suicidal. Look me in the eye. I'm not suicidal. And I have no intention of assassinating anyone. Don't need to. It's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. But eventually, it's only going to take a few 100,000 of us, even though there are millions of us. And I'm saying us, I'm talking about men of many races, actually, who are well armed. Thank Christ. Thank Christ. Thank Zeus. Thank Mohammed. Thank fucking Crom strong in his mountain. Thank all of them, all the gods of the old world and the new. Thank fucking all. I just missed by a digit winning a Daniel Arms, what is it called? Daniel Arms? Top of the line rifle. their giveaway at Black something. All the Ohio they have giveaways, and I bought a couple of tickets. My number was 291. One of my numbers was 291, and they go by the pick 3 evening, which was Wednesday. When it was last night. Last night. The number that came up was 281. I'm like, oh, what? No. Oh, fuck. My number's 291. The winning number was 281. But last year, I did win a 308 rifle. Very nice Savage rifle. Savage! With a scope, which I fired once, trying in the heat. Boiling heat, trying to zero it in. I did actually win a rifle last year, and that was with some national sportsman's thing around. So anyway, authorities, you know where I am. You've got my new address. I mean, you can find me with my phone. You can track me with my cars. You can track me with my phone. You can track me with this upload. They can find you anywhere. You can go anywhere in the world and they can find you. So, that's the score. This is the news I just got today. And it is Thursday, May 7th. You guys know where to find me. You're not getting another penny. You want to take what little I got? Be my guest. Just fucking come and seize it. I won't say anything more about, what my reaction may or may not be. Why do I keep hearing the phone making that noise? Something is... I'm guessing they probably cut me off. Come and get it. If I'm home, don't bother knocking, because that trailer's going to be rocking. If I'm on the road, know that I go about armed. It's my right. God given, not God, the Creator is what they said. Look at that flag flying over there. Isn't that interesting? All the phones ringing. Potential spam. Again, I'm getting inundated with fucking telemarketing. And they won't stop that either. They know that fucking pisses us off. That flag doesn't mean anything anymore, if it ever did. Flags are just battle standards. Everybody's, they got to worship that. It's just a piece of cloth that they used to carry into battle and hold it up above everybody so that in the mud and the blood and the smoke and the screaming and the carnage, you can see where the center of your line was. Hopefully. Well, mine is here. So come visit me anytime you want, guys. I am going to stop paying all of my bills. I'm going to stop paying the predatory banks. I'm going to stop paying the credit cards. I'm going to stop paying the personal loan, which wasn't enough to pay off the credit cards. I basically had to live off that. I'm not paying the line of credit. I'm not paying. I'm just not paying anymore. You want to come and financially shut me down? Be my guest. You want to make me homeless? Well, you can't do that. I own the Cadillac outright, so you can't. But you could refuse to title it or, tag it. And then eventually someone will tow it away. On that day, if I'm still breathing, bulldozer. Bye, kids.